Welcome back, everybody. We're here to pull cards for July 2nd. I am going to be pulling one card for overall energy and then one card for each sign and looking at how those two energies play out together. Well, there's our overall energy card, just popped right out. We've got the Queen of Swords showing up for overall energy. This just says that we are definitely going to be looking at things logically. We're going to have our thinking cap on. We're going to be very focused and taking care of business. So that's what we're seeing here. And so that's going to be describing somebody in our sphere of influence or ourselves. We'll see how it plays out for each sign. We already had at least one card pop, so we're just going to take that as the first one. We'll just stick it right here and pull it right off the top. Ba-da-da-da, Aries. Aries. So, Three of Cups is just telling me that you have somebody in your sphere of influence who is jumping up and down on your last nerve, being very annoying, maybe even, gossiping or saying things that are not true about you. So somebody who's really annoying you. And it can be in a big way, it can be in a little way. There's all kinds of places on that spectrum. Now with the Queen of Swords, here's the thing. Queen of Swords has been through some stuff, and this is the overall energy. This talks about the idea that as a collective, we have kind of been through some stuff. So Aries, that's going to apply to you too. And so whenever you notice that somebody is doing things that are really getting annoying for you, you're going to come up with a solution for that really quickly, a solution that works and that works well. Nobody's going to be, like if these people are talking behind your back, they're not going to be able to get away with it. You're going to see that like 3 miles away. Whatever it is these people are doing, you know exactly what's up and you know exactly how to take care of it, and you're taking care of it, Aries. Whoop, whoop, good for you. Taurus. Page of Cups. Taurus, you have somebody who normally is very logical. They like to things make sense. They're not very demonstrative with their affection, and they are going to be letting you know how important you are to them. It's interesting because, first of all, I think it comes up as surprising that you're hearing this from them. But the other thing that I'm getting is that even with them trying to let you know how important you are to them, this is going to be kind of an awkward thing for them. And it may not come out exactly like how you would say it, Taurus. And so I think there's a little bit of, I think it might take a minute or two for you to realize, how hard this is for them to say what they are saying and how important it is that they're saying it. Okay, next up, let's look at Gemini. Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. Whew, that's a powerful combination. With the overall being the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is somebody who has been through some stuff. She can see BS walking a mile away. And the High Priestess obviously also knows some stuff that other people don't know, and that other people don't know that she knows as well. So Geminis, I see you really following your intuition here and using it to take care of business. Take care of business. You may even be eliminating people who are trying to be deceptive or not straight with you. You may be eliminating them because you may be feeling, pretty good about doing that, pretty confident about that. With the High Priestess and the Queen of Swords, this kind of tells me that somehow your intuition today is absolutely going to be confirmed. With that Queen of Swords, this is very logical thinking. This is very intuitive thinking. So when intuition and logic are on the same page, there's a lot of confidence there. I think you're going to be, you're going to be basically taking out the trash today, okay? Because you're going to be knowing what is the trash and what is not. All right, so that was Gemini, right? Yes. Next up, we're looking at Cancers. So Cancer's Strength card. This is interesting. Cancers, there's something that you're really good at, especially as far as business-wise or logical-wise. All right, maybe I should say work-wise instead of business-wise, because, there's work around the house or work having to do with family or community that isn't necessarily business-oriented. But I am feeling like whenever it comes to business, you feel like, you're in your mojo today, Cancers. You're doing what you're good at today, and you're feeling really good about what you're doing, okay? So this is something that, you are accomplishing through strategy, through logic, through thought, and following through on that with focus, all right? And you're feeling really good about it because it feels good to you to be able to accomplish this, but also because it is how you roll whenever you come to this stuff. For me, this is talking about whatever it is that you do, that you're handling it in a very professional manner. Okay, so that's for Cancers. Next up, we're going to look at Leo. Leo, Seven of Coins showing up in reverse. Leos, with this Seven of Coins showing up in reverse, there's something that you have put in energy, effort, time, something. You've invested in this thing, and you're expecting to get some kind of payday today or payback today. But what's interesting to me with this Queen of Swords showing up in the overall energy, I think that you're pretty much aware ahead of time that payday is probably not going to come as fast as it has been promised. Somebody might have said, oh, payday is going to happen today. And you may be realizing, yeah, they're kind of forgetting about, the bank delay or, this time delay that happens between now and then. So I think you really already know just because of thinking through the situation that payday's not happening today, even if somebody else who should know hasn't quite figured that out. Doesn't mean you're not getting paid, just means that it's not happening today. All right, so that was Leo. Next up, let's look at Virgo. Virgo. Feel like these cards are not straight. Look at that. There we go. Okay, so Virgo, we've got the World card showing up here. World card with the overall energy of the Queen of Swords. This just tells me, basically, Virgos, that you have learned something new. You may have received some sort of certificate or I guess I want to say certificate, letter of completion, something like that. But it looks to me like with that Queen of Swords, this has to do with learning or it has to do with communications, something along those lines. So you have completed some type of cycle when it comes to communications or learning today. And so I think that even if nobody else recognizes this, you're going to be recognizing that, okay, now it's time to reset. What's my next goal now that I've accomplished this goal? But never hurts to stop and smell the roses when you've accomplished something. All right, so that was who? That was Virgo, right? Yes. Next up is Libra. Okay, Libras, we have the Moon card showing up with the Queen of Swords being the overall energy. Queen of Swords is really good about being able to get through to the truth. So it's interesting that we have the Moon card showing up on a day when Queen of Swords is in the overall, because the Moon card talks about the idea of hidden information. Not everything is as it seems. And the information doesn't necessarily have to be intentionally hidden. It just may not have come up. So anyway, what do we have here? I think you are really looking at a situation today, Libra, where you don't have all the puzzle pieces put together, and there's more information than what you're being presented with, but you're really having a hard time, no matter what you do with this Queen of Swords, trying to figure out what would logically make sense. You're still having a hard time actually putting together all the pieces of the puzzle here today. So that may be a little bit frustrating. Also, just by the way, a great time to get a reading from somebody like me when you have something like this going on, especially if you have to make any decisions around it that might be long-lasting. Just saying. Let's move on. Scorpios. Temperance card showing up in reverse. What's going on here? Things are out of balance with that Temperance card in reverse. What is happening there? What is happening there? Okay, so Scorpio's overall energy, Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is not that far from a Scorpio type of card, I believe. Of course, we all embody some parts of each card, but typically water signs in general are your most psychic signs, so Scorpio is included in that. And a lot of times we develop our psychic abilities as little ones as a coping mechanism, sometimes even a survival mechanism in our homes when we're little. And so that to me kind of goes along with the description that I understand of the Queen of Swords, which is she's somebody who's been through some stuff now. Okay. You know, some people can say this is somebody who's very interested in intellectual things, and that's true in many cases. But also, our Queen of Swords has been through some kind of stuff. She's been through some tragedy. Probably by the time she's lived to 18, she's probably been through some type of tragedy or witnessed something. Okay, so this is somebody who understands a little bit more about people and how they think and how they act than some of the other signs do, because they've seen the best and they've seen the worst. And so they can smell a skunk from a good ways away. All right. So this really talks about this idea of being very sharp, being very perceptive, understanding that everything is not always just as it appears, that you have to go deeper and look in. So with that Queen of Swords there, you know, I think we're definitely operating in that type of energy. We are looking for things to make sense, and where they don't make sense, we're looking for, okay, what are the pieces that are missing? Very similar to Libras. Now with this Temperance card in reverse, this is telling me that we may be a little bit out of balance with this. So we may be really obsessively digging for some type of information where we're feeling like we don't know the whole rest of the story yet. And so we may be hyper-focused on digging up that information. As Scorpios, we are known as the detectives of the universe, so it's not too surprising to see that we're losing our balance a little bit and trying to figure out, okay, what's the real deal here? Okay. For some of us, this is going to be very much a professional thing, you know, doing some kind of muckraking journalism. This can be if we have, you know, if we're in psychology and we have a particularly challenging client that we're not understanding exactly yet. This can be getting into a reading and really digging deeper and deeper and deeper into a reading for a client to find out what they need to know even. So there's a lot of different ways that this can manifest, but that gives you an idea. We're getting really obsessive about making sure we have all the information, because we're definitely sensing that something is not as it seems. And so we're really getting sucked into figuring out, well, what's the real deal? All right, so that's Scorpio. Next up is Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, you guys have the Six of Cups showing up here. Six of Cups is just telling me, Sagittarius, that I think you guys are having some good memories about a person, and maybe this person is coming around and you're talking about old memories together that you've made. But this is somebody who is very logical, who is able to make a strategy and really focus on following through with that strategy or with that plan. And so I think that, Sagittarius, you guys are spending some time with somebody like that and enjoying some old memories together. Sweet card there. Next up, Capricorn. Ace of Swords showing up in reverse. Capricorn, this is interesting. I think you're given the inside tip to a Queen of Swords. And a Queen of Swords is someone who just takes care of business. She's always looking for the real deal. She's looking for the truth. She is, you know, trying to make strategies based on the truth and focus on that moving forward. I think there's some bit of truth that you have here that you're feeling like maybe she does not have this yet. And so you're passing along this information to her so that she can make more successful plans than she would otherwise be able to do. Interesting. Aquarius. Nine of Swords showing up with that Queen of Swords. A lot of stress with that Nine of Swords, and generally that stress is, it's over something that we don't have control of. Because if we had control of it, we would just fix it. We wouldn't be stressed out about it. So there's some kind of stress coming in, showing up in your experience today, Aquarius. And the stress has to do with a Queen of Swords. What I'm feeling is that you're really worried about someone who is in your sphere of influence. And this is somebody who might be a girl, might be a guy. Definitely, if we're looking at romantic orientation, they're interested in guys, whoever this person is. But you're really stressed out about this person, and I think the reason you're stressed out about them is because you're feeling like You're feeling like they're not showing their emotions enough, and they may be suppressing their emotions and causing themselves problems, is basically what's going on here. And I think if you even bring this up to this Queen of Swords person, I think they're going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Everything's fine with me. That may be why you're stressing out, because you're seeing that this other person is not acknowledging any kind of emotions. So here's the thing that you need to know about somebody who has a Queen of Swords type personality. They don't focus on their emotions. That's just kind of a normal, general way that they operate. And in fact, if they do focus on their emotions more, it's usually because the emotions are like taking the driver's seat in the situation, and it makes them incredibly uncomfortable. So I'm going to say here, Aquarius, that you are a lot more uncomfortable with this situation than the person that you're worried about is. Might be time to just let them play it out however they need to play it out. Next up, we're looking at Pisces. So Pisces, you guys have the transformation card showing up in reverse. Yes, I know the label says death. Who on earth would call a card a death card? I don't know. I would call it transformation if I had designed this deck or any other deck, because it is a transformation is what it really is. So with our Queen of Swords showing up here and the death card, here's the thing. Pisces, I think that there's some type of change that you could make in your life that would bring improvement. I think you're very well aware of this. All right? Here's the catch. You know it would improve at least a certain thing, but you don't know how it would impact other parts of your life. And so you're just really not ready to take that leap yet. Now, with the Queen of Swords being our overall energy, I feel like what you're doing is you are logically talking yourself out of making this transformation or of making this change. You're trying to look at it from a logical way, and basically you're trying to justify the idea of not making this change. Here's the thing, Pisces, if you see this early enough, if you recognize yourself resisting a change that you know is going to improve at least one area of your life, try not to talk yourself out of making this change or this transformation, because when it shows up, it is one that is good for us. Usually we're just terrified, so we don't do it. But the sooner you can actually get into this and make it happen, the better off you're going to be. The more quickly you're going to be better off. So I would say go for it. You know, just bite the bullet and jump in and go for it. Don't try to rationalize not doing it. Just say, well, this is going to be an adventure, and jump right in. That's what my advice would be. All right, so that's what I have for everybody today. Thank you very much for being here. I do appreciate that so much. Of course, I'm looking forward to working with some of you in person later on today, and the rest of you, I'll see back on the next video. Peace out.